Alright, so to get fingers and start the hand, what you're going to do is first shrink this down so that the proportions are fingers. So if it's a little too large, you may want to select that hand and just scale it down. In that, I would probably also scale down the wrist so that everything stays a little proportional. Cool. And then from here, if you have these interesting edges going on, you can also select them. I just do a shift select and scale it so it stays straight. Shift select and scale it until it stays straight. And I know obviously you wouldn't have straight fingers going that way, but we'll figure out how to fix it in a little bit. We'll just kind of tweak that. So what you can do, it's actually a couple different approaches. One, you can grab the faces, all 8 of these faces, extrude them and weld them back together. So if I did that, I would extrude and then turn keep faces together off. And what I'll get are these interesting kind of fans. In fact, it'll look a little more like claws. I know that's disturbing, but what you do is also increase or, not your divisions, increase or decrease your offset. And I might need to do this to 0.05. Maybe we'll try 0.01. If it will actually type, that would be lovely. And then we can weld these together. And how you would do that. So you could just target weld. Make sure you're getting the right one, and then shrink these fingers down. Now, if this is a little complicated of a way for you to think about this, what you can also do is just select 2 faces at a time. So go ahead and with this face, do shift, shift, extrude. Make sure your local faces are together, extrude it out. Normally you want to look at this in the top view and make sure that it is extruding on a straight kind of pivot. If it's curved that way, you may also want to grab a scale tool, scale that down. And honestly, after I do that, then I usually scale it in slightly. You could pull the entire thing out, and then when you do that, what you'll get are these kind of noodle fingers. You could lessen that effect by using the multi-cut, Control. And normally I do about 3 points for kind of the like knuckle digits. And then from there, I could do a ring selection. Now, if you don't want to worry about that twist, you can do that first extrude, make sure it's straight, and then extrude it again from here. From there, go ahead and scale it up a little, making sure that you don't make it larger than your initial knuckle. So if the indent isn't quite good enough, you may want to make it slightly larger. And then extrude one more time. We can once again extrude and shrink. And then once you curve it, you'll have something that looks a little more like a finger and less like a noodle. And if you want it to keep its shape even more, then you can definitely go through and add those multi-cuts. And for this shape in particular, I would select this, scale it up so that I start to get that knuckle joint. and then move that, and keep working with that until I get the shape of the finger I'd want. And you would just go ahead and do that 4 more times. If they start to get close to each other, what you can always do is select and rotate, and move that out so the fingers are fanned out, like you're spreading them out in the air. For your thumb, you're going to do something similar. Oh, I'm going to notice that they're flayed this way too. And once I get them modeled, I can rotate them back kind of the direction that I wanted them. And then move this down. And I obviously have some adjustments I'd want to change there. From here, we go to your face and we do a very similar thing for the thumb. And just grab these 2 faces. See, not on that one, on this one. That's why you always want to check what view you're in. Shift extrude out. And then same thing, you're just going to go ahead and scale it down. And if I'm starting to get an interesting kind of shape there, I would move those individual vertices. And once again, we're going for that shape with the knuckle. So just to do it kind of quickly. Go shift extrude in, shift extrude out. Edge scale out. Edge scale in, edge scale out. Move it back a little, and 3. And if we want, we can even with this smooth in that view 2 or 3, we can modify it a little more. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop and work on your finger.